Howdy neighbors, welcome to another Vanguard episode. We are going to be covering a couple of cards for the Stride deck sets going to come out for Harri and for Night Rose. We're going to be covering some of these cards. First things first, let's take a look at the weekly Vanguard stream that came out. We have our 5 cards that were revealed today. First things first, it is the Dark Side Mirror Master. That is the standard Mirror Master that we have for Overdress. Then we happen to have Masquerade Bunny, which is the run-of-the-mill Stride deck set Grid 3 Searcher, and it's also alternatively a Stride fodder. It's a okay right target in Premium. Sadly enough, you probably maybe run 2 of this maximum in Premium right now. You could possibly play like a 2-2 split if you happen to not really care about like your ratios and stuff like that or deck size. Then we have Direful Doll or Netta. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle from hand, if you have a Masked Magician Harri crest, look at the top 5 of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them, put it into your soul and shuffle your deck. When this is put into Guardian Circle, so if you intercept with it, and if you have a Masked Magician Harri crest, you can soul charge 1. This is a little bit on the weaker side, and a random soul charge could be kind of nifty in situations that you might want to expend a little bit of soul by soul blasting some stuff. It's kind of nice. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how this could be applied for Overdress really, but you're gonna want to take what you get. I feel like almost anything is a little bit better than this, but actually no, that's not completely true. In Overdress, being able to look at the top 5 to soul charge any card is actually kind of insane, and also it being able to like soul charge itself. And one of the cool things too is that you can use Zargon, which is possibly a great one that you could be putting here into Harri. This gives you a way of being able to recycle this, especially if you put it into soul, if you can get multiple cards from out of your soul. Sadly enough, you can only use the first skill from out of hand, but we'll see. I think this is one of the first ones you could probably replace with something else. Maybe the Festival Collection Grade 2s could be somewhere up your alley if you want to consider this card. Then we have the man of the hour, Flying Manticore. I mean, obviously, we'll take a look at Lunatic Dragon in a second, but I am very excited. Sadly enough, I snuck a peek at this card already, but its skill is continuous if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Harri in its card name. This card gets the following. So first things first, you don't need a crest, which is very important, that if you would probably want to slot this into a premium deck, you do not need a crest, which is always fantastic to hear. Magia, the keyword, which is cool to have that a callback to. Auto, rearguard circle, generation break 1, obviously good G limitation. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if you did not call a unit from your soul during the battle phase this turn, so obviously this is probably going to be one of your first attacks you'll probably want to do, or second, maybe one of your first 2 attacks. If you didn't call a card from your soul, then cost, counterblast 1, put it into your soul, choose up to 1 card with a different name from this card from your soul, and call it to rearguard circle. At the end of that turn, put that called unit into your soul. Awesome. And it has additional skill. If this is guarded from your hand while paying the cost for Stride, draw a card. I think this is this is probably one of the best secondary grade 3s that we've ever gotten from one of the Stride deck sets. It's good. It's an attack extender that we've always needed for itself for Harri specifically, because Harri has like really good cards in Premium. The only issue that it ever really had is that sometimes you were missing an attack extender, or you really needed purple trapezes to kind of get some combos going off without having to use your Harri strides, and this gives you a way to do so. I love it. I think this is a fantastic card, fantastic option to play for sure. Then we have Jester Demonic Dragon Lunatic Dragon. So it has the same strike cost that you need to pay. Discard a card from your hand equal to the grades of 3 or greater. Then you straight it face down, but here's to the meat of the card. A Magia act once per turn. A cost, turn a card from your G zone face up, so you don't need to pay counterblast for it. It is an act ability, however. I would have hoped it to be an auto ability, like on attack, do something, but sadly enough, it is not. Look at the top 5 of your deck and choose up to 1 card from among them, put them into your soul, shuffle your deck, and then choose up to 1 card from your soul, card to rearguard circle. At the end of that turn, put the called unit into the soul. It's alright. It allows you to protect a rear guard you're using a whole lot, but one of the biggest issues that Harry back in the days had is that oftentimes you wouldn't have any rear guards on the board. You kind of had a couple of attack extenders, but then it'd be kind of awkward because then you don't have any board to protect yourself with. It's just like, well, my stuff don't get retired, but I have to guard with all these cards from my hand. Ow. In Overdress, I don't think you have that much if choose. I think there's a lot more defensive options that you have right now in Overdress than you would in, that day of that time period of Premium or G era at least. And right now, I think Premium obviously has like way more insane defensive options, but I think this is not a bad card, not a bad option. Being able to filter through your deck, you have options of hitting into more triggers, obviously, since you can look at 5, add 1, look at 5, soul charge 1, look at 5, soul charge 1, and there's a incidentals, random soul charging here with the Diefel doll, but it isn't the end of the world to do that random soul charge. I will say with the cards that we have as information, I think we'd still get like a couple more cards and maybe some more information of what the new set is going to look like. I will still say that I am very happy that we have gotten to a point right now that Premium could look a whole lot better. And that being said, April, Sage, Sage 1804, had posted or retweeted a list that Barry Soar, April's friend, had posted like a couple days ago, covering the identity of what you probably would want to look like going forward playing maybe Premium Harri. And first things first, this is a fantastic, very, very, very aggressively slanted list for some of the uninitiated when it comes to like a lot of these premium cards and effects. If you would love for me to cover every single clan within Premium, just let me know. I kind of want to do it in the first place, but having somewhere to start is always something I needed, so maybe I might start at Harri. Just let me know. We could probably have somebody like Derek Dow or Sage or Barry or somebody who's willing to cover this with me, and then give some insights and design ideas of what you would want to do for your Premium decks. But going forward, as you can see, they're running the Silverthorn Rising Dragon in here. They're playing, obviously, the Crest Grade 1's Betty in here. And, of course, they're playing, like, Forbidal so they can tutor some Grade 3s out of their deck. I think April and I recently had a conversation about Harri. Their form of Harri is a bit more defensively slanted, and that's a bit also close to my playstyle as well. I like being able to react to whatever my opponent is doing and being able to interrupt their plays. And so, because we're playing a very crest reliant version of the deck, I would like to have defensive options. So obviously we're running the grade 3 that gets to retire something, or we can run Tricky Assistant, or we can run Paratons. Like, there's so much cooler the design aspects. They are running misdirections, which I kind of do like as a bit of an attack extender, since she could call herself if you call something out of soul. Obviously Purple Trapezist is obviously a staple. You kind of have to run her. But with the adage of Manticore that we have right now, being a retrain from the older Manticore that we did have, this gives us a way of being able to have an attack extender, not having to offer soul for Alice, and also not having to worry about soul blasting a card, which might end up having us sacrifice a combo piece, or we might be able to like slot in more Magia units, Magia doll cards, maybe paratroopers, stuff like that. Being able to have more pieces to get rid of our opponent's resources in the middle of their battle phase can lend us to way more defensive capability as a deck, and also be aggressive and assert dominance, since we're also a crest variant. Because like the issue of Harri has never been can I deal damage this turn. Sometimes obviously, like if you have offensive pressure, your opponent hits like a bit of a defense, if it can get kind of awkward, especially playing with Axel markers. I still felt like one of the other bigger issues was that sometimes you just got blown up from your opponent's threats. and you can choose to play a defensive strategy or offensive version of Harri. And none of them are like incorrect, but I like now with the crest variation, it gives you a bridge. It gives you a way of being able to kind of like hedge your bets and say, well, the crest kind of gives me the offensive slant, so now I can play a little bit more defensive cards and not feel too punished by not hitting my crest on time. Because I run a couple more grade 3s that are 13k bases now, which is very good on defensive turns, especially if you're forced to ride it after not seeing a Harri and not have to accidentally ride Alice, which forces you to get a axle marker, can a little bit be punishing. I will say though, not seeing Harri in a crest deck or not seeing your respective crest leader can be awkward, for sure. Especially since the crest leader can't allow you to ride anything other than the crest leader itself. So if you do happen to hit your Harri, you need to see your Harri. Which is why April is themselves playing the D version of Midnight Bunny, which is the Stride Fodder over here. It's right here, first row, the one I'm pointing at. I'm a bigger fan of the G variation of it because I have too many times that I've played some crest decks that I've just not seen my crest. But there's some philosophies of crest builders or players that are like, if you don't see it, your deck doesn't do anything anyway, so you might as well just play the most optimal version of the thing that you want to do, which is completely not wrong. But out of that, I really like the fact that we have within just one crest archetype already like 2 different variations that you can already go for. I'm so excited to see how Premium's going to turn out. I'm going to be big mad while I'm getting combo Fortnite danced on by this deck. But this is one of the first times that outside of Grand Blue Premium, finally this deck also feels potent and dangerous outside of having to be dusted by it as an alternative win condition. Now you actually have some say in your games. I love it. I love it a lot. I'm excited to see how this deck turns out. I hope you guys are also excited about this deck as well. I think this deck list comes from CFA. So if you guys want to go on CFA and give it a go and give it a test, or Vanguard Pro, I don't know. They don't have Premium on theirs. Sadly enough, that'd be like too much space, too much cards, too much like rolling situations. That'd be way too much. But you could play with friends, proxy some cards, get some games in, guys. Have some fun with this. Have some good games. With that being said, till next time.